Hi, I'm Rebecca Atkinson, and my strategy was activating prior knowledge. So just give me 1 second. I'm taping this on my computer myself. Okay, background knowledge. Background knowledge, or activating prior knowledge. Background knowledge and prior knowledge are generally used interchangeably. These terms mean what someone already knows about a subject, or all knowledge learners have when entering a learning environment. Another definition would be the whole of a person's knowledge, including explicit and tacit knowledge, metacognitive and conceptual knowledge. Although there are many differently worded definitions, they all describe the same basic concept. Prior knowledge and background knowledge are themselves parent terms for many more specific knowledge dimensions, such as conceptual knowledge and metacognitive knowledge. Subject matter knowledge, strategy knowledge, personal knowledge, and self-knowledge are all specialized forms of prior knowledge or background knowledge. Call it schema, relevant background knowledge, prior knowledge, or just plain experience. When students make connections to the text they are reading, their comprehension increases. Good readers constantly try to make sense out of what they are what they read by seeing how it fits with what they already know. When we help students make those connections before, during, and after they read, we are teaching them a critical comprehension strategy that the best readers use almost unconsciously. Ellen Oliver Keene and Susan Zimmerman in Mosaic of Thought have identified 3 main types of connections students make when they read. That would be text to self, text to world, and text to text. Why is activating prior knowledge so important? Explicitly teaching strategies that proficient readers use when they try to make sense out of text helps to deepen understanding and create independent readers. Activating prior knowledge, or schema, is the first of 7 strategies that Keene and Zimmerman identify as key for reading comprehension success. Keene and Zimmerman also state that teaching children with thinking strategies are used by proficient readers, and helping them use those strategies independently creates the core of teaching reading. These strategies, identified through research based on what good readers do when they are reading, help students become metacognitive. They learn to think about their thinking as they are reading. When students learn to make connections from their experience or to the text they are currently reading, they have a foundation or scaffolding upon which they can place new facts, ideas, and concepts. As good readers read, they think about what they are reading and consider how it fits with what they already know. In this way, they build upon the schema that they already have developed. Studies have shown that students with more prior knowledge are able to comprehend better than a person with less prior knowledge. Also, prior knowledge is more important than reading ability in determining learning outcomes. So when should activating prior knowledge skills be taught? This comprehension strategy should be taught on an ongoing basis so that students learn independently to use it as they are reading. It should be taught explicitly and systematically over an extended period of time, moving from modeling the thinking process out loud by the teacher to students using the strategy as a natural part of their comprehension process. Prior knowledge should be discussed before reading the text to help set the stage for what is coming. During reading, students should be encouraged to make connections to the text from their experience, and the teacher should model this process using his or her own connections. After reading, the discussion should center on how the connection helps students to better understand the text and how the text helped them to build their foundation of prior knowledge. What does activating prior knowledge look like? At the beginning stages of teaching students the strategy of making connections to their prior knowledge, the teacher models thinking aloud. The teacher reads a text to the class and talks through his or her thinking process in order to show students how to think about their thinking as they are reading. Slowly, after students have seen and heard the teacher using the strategy, they are given the opportunity to share their experiences and thinking. Finally, students make connections to text independently. Teachers can check in periodically as students articulate their thinking in order to track process, spot difficulties, and intervene individually or conduct a mini lesson to reteach or move students forward. As students are activating their prior knowledge and making connections, they can use graphic organizers such as a concept map, a flow chart, or a KWL chart to help map their thinking. Often, students keep reflections or response journals where they record thoughts, feelings, and insights and questions about what they read. Students in large and in small groups discuss and write about the connections they are making to texts. Activating prior knowledge is important because it helps students make connections to the new information they will be learning. By tapping into what students already know, teachers can assist students with the learning process. And then here, I'm going to give you some strategies that can start students thinking about what they already know about a topic. The first one is the KWL chart. The traditional KWL chart can be used with any content area to start students thinking about what they know about a topic, what they want to know about that topic, and what they have learned at the end of the unit. It can be adapted for research by adding a column between the W and L that requires students to think about how they will use the resources to find the answers to their questions. A KWL chart can be used as an assessment for learning, because a teacher can quickly tell what the students already know and understand about a topic. Another strategy to activate or to get students activating their prior knowledge is brainstorming. So this strategy is used to activate prior knowledge by encouraging students to focus on a single topic. The teacher begins by posing the question or introducing the topic, and then students will give all their possible answers, words, or ideas about that topic. And we must remember that contributions are made without criticism or judgment. This strategy encourages students to take risks in sharing their ideas and opinions. Students build their knowledge in other people's contributions. We can use picture books. They're a quick and convenient way to help older students activate their prior knowledge. There is a new focus on picture books that deliver difficult content in simple language. These are a great model for student writing, as they contain vivid language and a variety of text structures. The beauty of using picture books in the upper grades, middle, and high school is that they can be read in a few minutes and provide students with information connected to the concept or skill being introduced. Another strategy is anticipation guide. It's a before reading strategy used to start students thinking about what they know or what they think they know about a topic. The teacher develops the anticipation guide by creating 5 to 10 statements about the content students will be exploring. Students read each statement and agree or disagree with it. They do not have to share their answers, but they have to put in an answer for each statement. After they have shared their after they have agreed or disagreed with each statement, students are to read the related text, and they can change or revise their answers if they learn something new. The anticipation guide may be used as an assessment for learning, but should not be used for a grade. A new one that I had never heard of before was called the Thieves strategy, and this helps students survey a content textbook to activate their prior knowledge. The strategy prescribes a certain previewing technique that follows the acronym THIEVES. And then if students learn this technique, they will be able to use it before they read a chapter and also as they review for a test. So basically, this activity will help students with comprehension by allowing them to preview the text structure in an organized manner. The pre-reading strategy will allow students to steal information before they actually begin reading the chapter. And then students will survey the text in the following manner. The title. Students sometimes skip the title, but it provides valuable information by establishing the topic and the contents of the chapter. If the text is written in a chronological order, the title may indicate where the chapter would fit in a timeline. So some questions that the student may ask while looking at the title include, what do I already know about this topic? How does it connect to the previous chapter? And how can I turn this title into a question to focus my reading? The next letter stands for heading, and this indicates the important sections of a chapter. It helps students identify the specific topics covered. Students can turn the headings into questions to create a more focused look at information covered in the chapter. Some questions that the students may ask while looking at the headings include, how does this heading let me know what I'll be reading about? What topic will be discussed in the paragraphs below this heading? And how can I turn this heading into a question that can be answered when I read the section? I stands for introduction. The introduction provides an overview of the chapter and may come after the title and before the first heading. Sometimes the goals and objectives of the chapter are stated in the introduction. Some questions that students may ask when previewing the introduction include, is the introduction marked or do I have to locate it? Does the first paragraph introduce the chapter? What important information will I find in the introduction, and do I already know anything about this? E, every first sentence in a paragraph. First sentences are often the topic sentences of the paragraph, and by reading these, a student can get an idea of the information that will be contained in the chapter. Visuals and vocabulary. Students should look at all pictures, charts, tables, maps, and graphs contained in the chapter. They can read the captions and labels on each. This will help the students to learn a little about the topic before they begin to read. And some questions that the students may ask about visuals may include, how do these visuals relate to the content of the chapter? How can I learn from them? And how do the captions help me understand the visual? Vocabulary unlocks the meaning of the content. Students need to understand vocabulary in order to comprehend the text. Vocabulary may or may not be identified as keywords and might be highlighted, italicized in the text. Some questions that students may ask about the vocabulary include, is there a list of words and are they defined in the glossary? Are these important words in boldface or italics? Do I know the important words and are there other words I don't know? The last E stands for end of chapter questions. These questions indicate important points and concepts about the chapter. Just reading these questions will help students target information that is important in the text and establish a purpose for the reading. Some questions that students may ask about the end of the chapter questions include, what do these questions ask? What information will be important in this chapter, and how do I locate this information in the text? The last letter S stands for summary. Many texts contain a summary at the end of the chapter. Students can read the summary to activate prior knowledge and give them an idea of the important concepts contained in the chapter. And this strategy was created by Suzanne Liff-Mans, and she's an educational therapist and instructor at a college in Garden City, New York. So another strategy is called the Bloom Ball activity, and that allows students to practice their cooperative skills and exhibit their creativity. A Bloom Ball is created by gluing together 12 circles that contain information important to the concept they are studying, and students can research the background information that can expand their knowledge about the time, the environment, important vocabulary, and other things that deepen understanding. The close procedure is that features a passage from text that contains blanks where words are deliberately omitted, and it's designed to measure students' comprehension, but may also be used to activate prior knowledge about a topic. To enhance a closed activity, a teacher would choose a passage of text and delete words based on a word count formula, such as every 5th word or every 7th word. You may supply a word bank for the students, but you don't have to, and this procedure may be used as a formative assessment to adjust reading instruction. Another strategy is text impression. And just one second. Okay, I'm sorry. The teacher can choose keywords or phrases. The teacher can use the text impressions piece as a formative assessment as well. So that's just a couple of different strategies. There are many, many more, and I could talk for hours, I guess, about them. But I'm going to just skip to my next thing. When can activating prior knowledge strategies be used? And they are to be used before, during, and after reading. It should be used all the time. And to support this strategy, educators should choose materials that support this strategy all the time. To help activate prior knowledge, use texts that have familiar content and ask questions such as these to begin a reading assignment. What do I already know? Have any of you ever experienced these things or may not talk about? And what have you read about before? And there are also different strategies to do that as well. One limitation that I did find was to activate prior knowledge, one must possess the strategies to activate prior knowledge before they can even begin to grasp the matter. But that is where we as the educator come in, because that is our job, is to teach our students those skills to be able to do this. And this approach appears to be effective for a range of grade levels and student populations. Additional research obviously is going to be needed to extend these findings and investigate more comprehensively the factors that might influence the success of direct instruction of background knowledge. And I could keep talking.